Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Charles in Charge Cowboys Sports Report. It is Friday night, about 11:09 Central Time p.m., May 3rd. If this is your first time watching one of my episodes, guys, that red subscribe button is free. It's a free investment. It costs you nothing. I implore you to please press that. In the future, next couple videos, if you don't like my content, you can unsubscribe. That's free also. I'm at $3.94. First goal is hit 500, then to 1,000. When I reach that, I guarantee you this show will skyrocket and become one of the top shows you look forward to watching. You'll be able to start putting back into it. Get a nice desktop to show film and graphics and whatnot. Instead of, explaining it in words. And studio equipment, sound bites, and a call-in line for live shows. I just try to do a live show right now. But when the channel's small, it's kind of hit and miss. And tonight was a miss. But a call-in line for live shows, just like Law Nation has. He's the only one that has that. You would think more people would have it, but, when my live shows have a big crowd, the line will open so people can voice their opinion on the win or the loss or the trade or, whatever the topic at hand may be. Yes, guys. My first game was Super Bowl 28 against Buffalo that I witnessed. I don't know why I bled silver and blue starting that night, starting that kickoff. And ever since then, I've seen just about every play from every game from the 94 season on. After the Super Bowl that we were down 13-6 at halftime, came back to win 30-13. Played the game my entire youth, been a student of the game my entire life. Everybody brings a different perspective to this. Mike Fisher, he's a journalist, 30 years covering the Cowboys, Emmy Award winner, works inside the store, brings us facts and information that we can't get otherwise. Law Nation, kind of a mix. He's got connections inside the store and whatnot. He knows players. He's got facts and whatnot, but also has fan talk involved with it. So, that's why his show is so compelling. And then you got like Mark Holmes and Rome, where it's really just, Cowboys fan talk. That's what I bring to the table. My 30 years of watching this team, playing this game my entire youth, and being a student of the game my entire life. And getting to know the Joneses for 30 years, I guarantee you will like this show, guys. I don't have a bell, but before I jump into this, guys, on the count of three, kind of like Mike Fisher does, guys, it's free. It costs you nothing. It's a free investment. Trust me. Help me to get up there, and you will not regret it. On the count of three, guys, hit that red subscribe button. 1, 2, 3, boom. If you did it, you're a real one, and I love you for it. That thumbs up button, if your video gets viewed more, it'll show up on feeds it would show up on. Otherwise, guys, get this video liked, guys, on the count of three. Hit that thumbs up button. 1, 2, 3, boom. If you did it, you're a real one, and I love you for it. Now let's get into this here. So much criticism this offseason. So much criticism. A lot of people putting forks in us before training camps even started, before mini camps even started for the rookies, for OTAs and whatnot. Just like I keep going back to the 2022 offseason, right? First thing, what we do? Trade Cooper for peanuts. Let Cedric Wilson walk. Our starting receiver and our slot receiver. Cut Lyle Collins. Because a lot of people didn't know Terrence Steele was, ready, or actually better at that point in time. We're signing Randy Gregory to a big extension, but there's something in the contract he doesn't like, so he goes to Denver. We lose Randy Gregory. What? Oh my gosh. The third line's out the door. We don't know who we have for kicker. There's a few more people that we lost that offseason. And then 10 days before week 1, Tyron Smith's hamstring comes off the bone as Tyler Smith is playing left guard all preseason, all training camp and whatnot. And all we brought in was James Washington, who did 0 that season, and Dante Fowler, who was a good guy in the rotation at pass rusher. That was it. People stuck a fork in us. We were done. Well, we hit the draft in 2022, starting caliber offensive lineman day 1 at Tyler Smith. Everybody scrutinized that pick, scrutinized it, because at center, you had that really good center that Baltimore took the pick after, who had made the Pro Bowl in his first 2 seasons. We take Tyler Smith out of Tulsa, raw left tackle, a lot of talent, but very raw, most penalized guy in college football the year before. He's playing guard all season. 10 days before week 1, has a kick at the left tackle and does a great job. Really, linemen don't win this, but he should have won Rookie of the Year. or at least offensive rookie of the year. I mean, he was amazing, especially on the island against these hella pass rushers that he was going against. Instant hit right there. Year one. Damone Clark misses 5-6 weeks. Comes back early from, an injury from the season before. Has a good rookie season. Disappointing last season, but a good rookie season. Makes a difference. Anthony Brown. Jordan Lewis goes down. We have no slot corner. 5th round pick, Deron Bland goes in. Boom, instant hit. I mean, plays lockdown in the slot. 3 impact players right there at rookie. And Jake Ferguson, as tight end number 2, played very damn well behind Dalton Schultz. And there was one more player from that draft that made an instant impact that year. But we go 12-5, win the first round, and lose in a tight second round game at San Fran. And if Terrence Steele doesn't go down later that year, as he was like the best run blocking right tackle in the league almost. We were running the ball at will, but he goes down. Tyron's healthy again. He plays at left tackle. If Terrence Steele don't go down and Ty Smith is ready to play, maybe he goes to left tackle and kicks the rookie to left guard. And if, Pollard is healthy for the whole San Fran game with that offensive line, maybe the score isn't 19-12. Point of the matter being is that because we weren't so active in free agency, doesn't mean that this season is a wash. It's far from a wash. And I think this draft will have as many instant impact players as last draft, especially on the OL. We got pick 24, right? Pick 24. And we turned it into 2 starting caliber offensive linemen day one. One of the 2, even though he was drafted 2 rounds later, we think his ceiling is higher, but Tyler Guyton, the guy's a freaking giant with great feet, very versatile, great hands, but is raw, like Tyler Smith was. Well, everybody that these young offensive linemen are working with, this certain guy, I forget his name, put him on a good path. So we take pick 24, go back to pick 29, but we get pick 73 for doing that. Tyler Guyton, and then for the bonus pick 73, get Cooper Beebe, who a lot of people had a first round grade on. Some people thought he was the best guard in the draft. He will move to center. That is the plan. And being that he's going to be playing in between Tyler Smith and Zach Martin will make his job even easier as a rookie. And he is a mauler. He is nasty with strength. He's not like Biotish that'll get pushed back into Prescott's lap. And if he can play really well as a rookie, which I believe he will, the interior of our offensive line will be dangerous. We're talking about 3 guys who mean business. And Tyler Smith is a mauler also. And then Tyler Guyton, if he can just play as well as Tyler Smith did his rookie season, our offensive line will be better than it was last season. Better than it was last season. I know in the 3rd year of Biotish's career, he made a Pro Bowl, but he didn't make it actually. He only made it because somebody was still, going to the Super Bowl, whatever. He was an alternate Pro Bowl player, which just means he didn't really suck. But last season, he didn't up his game like I thought he would on a contract year. That's why we let him walk. Marshawn Nealon, we take in the 2nd round, help, absorb the hit that Fowler and Armstrong, left as, they went to Washington. We take that linebacker in the 3rd round. I thought we'd take a running back, but we take a linebacker. Only 2 areas of need right now is defensive tackle and maybe a fresh legs running back. A rookie. We signed a UDFA, I know that. Nathaniel Pete, I don't know if he's going to be the answer or not. Miles Sanders, I think we're going to bring in a name that's not too expensive. Miles Sanders, who went to Carolina last season, a very bad year, just like Elliott did, because they were on very bad teams. And so, if we're able to pull a trade and bring in a Miles Sanders, him, Zeke, and Rico would be a great trio because it's going to be running back by committee this season, that's for sure. But I believe we will win the East for the first time in back-to-back seasons since 94-95, where we won it 5 years in a row, 92 through 96. So this will be the first time. We haven't won the division in back-to-back years since then. It's crazy, right? Philly was the last team to do it, 01-04. And you would think, sorry, I'm doing this on my phone, don't have a mic so you hear the family in the background. You would think that we'd have won back-to-back division titles since then, 06-07. No, 06, we didn't win the division. Philly did. Then you're thinking, 08, 09, 08, we didn't make the playoffs. 2010, losing season, 11 through 13, 8-8. Then 2014 playoffs, 2016 playoffs, 2018 playoffs. In between those, didn't make it. 2019 started 3-0, missed it. 2020, the injury plague season. So no, we haven't won the division in back-to-back years since I was in grade school. Now, seeing what the Eagles did last season, they started 10-1, something like that, finished 12-5. To have that slide at the very end of the season like they did, I know they got rid of the offensive coordinator. They bring in, our Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore is more of an aerial attack type OC. He lasted 1 year in Los Angeles. New head coach, Harbaugh, coming out of college, coached San Fran to a Super Bowl and multiple championship games. Didn't want Kellen Moore as his OC. So as right now, it's the depth chart on paper. Right now, I know it would probably be different late August. Let's go look at the two lower tier teams real quick. Washington and the Giants. I don't think either will make the postseason, and I hope we wax Washington both times this season hard. Because Dan Quinn in that playoff game, that was not a Dan Quinn defense that was playing that Sunday against Green Bay. I don't know if Dan Quinn's mind was in the future, knowing that he was going to be head coach this coming season, but he did not prepare or had this team prepared on defense, at least, to play the game. I have never seen our defense get ran over as bad as we did. I know we've had some bad games on defense with Quinn at coordinator, but not like that. So, man, and then when he leaves, he wants to take Biotish and Armstrong and Fowler with him. I hope we put a 40 burger on them both times and win by 40 plus. Washington, they have a rookie quarterback in Jaden Daniels. And we know number 11 and number 90 love rookie quarterbacks. Backup quarterback Marcus Mariota, right? The running backs Brian Robinson Jr. That's their backup. Their starting running back is Austin Eckler from the Chargers. So rookie quarterback Jaden Daniels, Austin Eckler. You got Terry McLaurin and Dotson as your 1 and your 2. And then as your slot, rookie is Luke McCaffrey, brother of Christian McCaffrey, son of Ed McCaffrey. Played for the Broncos, won back-to-back Super Bowls. Rookie slot. The tight ends, Zach Ertz, and rookie Ben Sinnott, I believe is how you pronounce it. Zach Ertz, I believe, is way past his prime. That rookie linebacker we took in the third round out of Notre Dame, Maurice L. I just say L. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Supposedly really good in coverage. But supposedly so is Overshawn also. I don't think the tight ends are going to hurt us. Nor the receivers. And the offensive line, from left tackle to right tackle, you got Cornelius Lucas at left tackle, Nick Allegretti at left guard, Tyler Biadasz at center. Right guard is Sam Cosme, right tackle Andrew Wiley. Only two guys I know out of that is Biadasz and Wiley. The swing tackle will probably be Trent Scott, and interior swing guard Michael Dieter. I know that name. But the offensive line is, guys, a lot to be desired. Defensive lineman. The starting defensive ends, Dorrance Armstrong and Clelin Ferrell. Now, Clelin Ferrell was a tweener, could play DT or DE, defensive end. So they're going heavy on the line. Not really speed, but more heavy. Dorrance Armstrong, not a speed rusher, more of a heavy defensive end. So the starting ends are Armstrong and Ferrell. Behind that, you got Dante Fowler and KJ Henry. Then in the middle, we all know Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen. And then early in the draft, they take Jerzan Newton, another defensive tackle. On the depth chart, he's number 3 behind Payne and Allen. And you got a couple other guys. John Ridgway's in the mix. I'm hoping they put Ridgway in the practice squad or something like that with this new rookie they got, Newton, and we can get Ridgway back. He was our 3rd or 5th round pick in 2022. And our 2 5th-round picks, Damone Clark and Deron Bland, the other 2, were very good that rookie season. Bland an All-Pro last year for first team All-Pro. Clark was a little disappointing, but I think he'll pick it up in year 3. I would like to get a Vanilla Gorilla back because he had a lot of, hype coming in. At linebacker, Jamin Davis and Frankie Luther on the outside. And you got Bobby Wagner for the inside. Bobby Wagner's still playing football. He's a middle linebacker. I'm sure Dan Quinn has plans for him. At corner, you got Benjamin St. Just and Michael Davis. And at slot, you got Mike Sainer still. Corners, I haven't really heard of that much. St. Just, yeah, I've heard of him, but the corners, the defensive backfield, the strong safety is Derek Forrest, free safety Percy Butler. Jeremy Chin is a backup strong safety. Dominic Hampton, backup free safety. Their secondary seems to have a lot to be desired. For that Washington defense to be effective, they got to be able to get to the quarterback and fast. Now, I believe they'll be able to stop the run pretty damn well. Stop the run pretty good. Will they be able to stop the run with the 4-man front? If Cooper Beebe can play as dominant as we think he can as a rookie, I think Tyler Guyton's going to be a good average left tackle as a rookie. Average left tackle, do his job, not be a liability. Be like Tyler Smith was 2 years ago. But I think Cooper Beebe as center, looking at this film, when Kansas State played Texas last year, he was one-on-one with Byron Murphy and T'Vondre Sweat. Through the whole game, he was pushing them 2 boys around. 2 of the best defensive tackles in the draft. And they'll probably be stars here in the NFL. I mean, he is just nasty. If he is who we think he is, I believe he'll be able to run the ball on anybody. And that's up the middle. Because Tyler Smith has got power out the wazoo. And Zach Martin is who he is. And Terrence Steele is a run blocking right tackle. As we know. The Giants, dumpster fire. Their quarterback, $40 million, Daniel Jones. The backup is Drew Lock. They lost Saquon Barkley, so the running backs are Devin Singletary and Eric Gray. Wide receiver, you got Jalen Hyatt, second-year guy now. Wan'Dale Robinson. And the feared rookie, Malik Neighbors, who some guy on Twitter said is the 6 foot, 220-pound Tyreek Hill. Okay. And receivers 4 and 5. We know Darius Slayton, Isaiah Hodgins. Tight end, you still got Darren Waller. He's getting older. Last year he didn't do hardly anything. And behind him you got Daniel Bell. The Giants O-line. Andrew Thomas, who's quality left tackle. Left guard, Aaron Stymie. Center John Michael Smith, who had a bad rookie season. Right guard John Runyon, whose father was a really good offensive lineman. Played for Philly, I remember, in the early 2000s. Nasty guy, but average. He's average. And right tackle is Jermaine Eleminor, however you say it. And that's sad because at right tackle was, top 10 pick Evan Neal. And right now he's bumped down to swing tackle. 2 years ago he's been a top 10 with a top 5, top 10 pick on Evan Neal at right tackle, and you miss that bad to in year 3 he's not even starting going into training camp. And then Marcus McKeon would be your swing guard. Now the strength for the Giants, the defensive line, they got Brian Burns for defensive end to go with Kevin Thibodeau. Good booking pass rushers there. In the middle, you got Dexter Lawrence, Jordan Phillips. As far as depth, a bunch of guys that we don't know. But that starting 4 is pretty good. At linebacker, you got Bobby Okereke. I can never pronounce that. Micah McFadden and Isaiah Simmons. We know Isaiah Simmons, really good in coverage. But on linebacking core, average. At cornerback, we have Drew Phillips, who is a rookie. Now, they started 2 rookies last year at corner. They didn't work out very good. Drew Phillips at left corner, rookie. Right corner, Deontay Banks, second-year guy. Slot corner, Dale Flott. And backups, you got Trey Hawkins and Darnay Holmes. Strong safety. This will be a rookie, Tyler Nubin. Free safety, Jason Pinnock. So right now, projected depth chart for the Giants. You got 2 rookies starting in the secondary. Giants are going to be Giants probably finish last in the division, being that Washington has Dan Quinn probably finished 3rd. Now I know Giants have Brian Dable, but dear, I don't see them getting better in any way. And they lose their best offensive weapon. And Saquon Barkley, they got Malik Neighbors, but if that offensive line can't block for Daniel Jones, it don't matter who you got at wide receiver. Now, our most fierce division rival for the last 10 years, Philly. Quarterback, you got Jalen Hurts. Backup, Kenny Pickett, right? Decent backup. Wide receiver, Saquon Barkley. Running back Saquon Barkley. Like everybody's, bashing Zeke last year for playing in New England. He averaged, 3.5 yards a carry. New England, bad team, bad offensive line, no quarterback, no wide receivers. Well, Saquon had 3.9 yards a carry last season. Just saying. Behind him, you got Kenneth Gainwell and rookie Will Shipley. Boston Scott, they let walk. Wide receiver, you got the 2 $25 million guys, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. We both know they can ball. And then at the slot, you got Paris Campbell. And then behind them, you got Devontae Parker, who was a pretty good receiver for Miami at one time. Been on a steady decline the last 4 years. Tight end, Dallas Goedert from the 2018 rookie class. And then behind him, you got 2 guys that we haven't really heard of, Grant Caladaira and Albert. I can't pronounce the last name. Now, Kelsey retires, so their starting offensive line will be Jordan Mailata, left tackle, Landon Dickerson, left guard, same left tackle, same left guard. Cam Jurgens will finally start at center. They drafted him 2 years ago to replace Kelsey when he retires, and he finally did. Jurgens has been playing right guard. Now he will play center for the first time at the NFL level. At right guard will be Tyler Steen, rookie of last year, 3rd-round pick. First time starting at right guard. And at right tackle, good old Lane Johnson still kicking it. They picked up Mekhi Becton for depth. He'll be their swing tackle, I am assuming, even though his career he hasn't been that good. Defensive end. On the edge, you're going to have Brandon Graham, Josh Sweat, Milton Williams, and that first from last year, got late 1st-round pick, edge guy. Damn, what is his name? It's not even written down because he wasn't even on the depth chart. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. Nolan Davis, yeah. At least that's his name. Decent edge group right there. Defensive tackle. And nose tackle will be Jordan Davis. Then defensive tackle Jalen Carter. Behind them, not much depth. You got Marlon T. can't pronounce her last name, and you got Moro Ajomo. Fletcher Cox hung his cleats up. The leader of the defense, the leader of the offensive line, both, hung it up, after long, decorative careers. Now, a linebacker. They did acquire Devin White for right inside middle linebacker. N'Kobe Dean be left inside middle linebacker. We'll see how that duo of middle linebackers, plays together. White was really overrated in Tampa. As a rookie, a lot of people thought he was better than what he was. But as a rookie, playing with Tampa, he was playing behind Vita Vea and Ndamukong Suh and playing, next to a very, very good linebacker in Levante David. That defensive line he had JPP, Shaquille Barrett, Vita Vea, and Ndamukong Suh. So his first 2 seasons, when you have a defensive line that good, it makes your job at linebacker that much easier. That's why I don't think this Devin White signing is really big at all. That's why the 2000 Ravens, that's why the linebacking crew, Ray Lewis, Sharper, and Boulware was so good. Because at defensive tackle, they had Sam Adams and Tony Siragusa. Those 2 guys could swallow 2 linemen by themselves, each of them. And then you have Michael McCrary and the other guy. A solid front 4. But that front 4 could swallow the offensive line to where Ray Lewis would run free, sideline to sideline. Only got to block him would maybe be a tight end, and that was a joke. And then you had Peter Bowler and Jamie Sharper on each side of him as Pro Bowl linebackers. So Devin White, if Jordan Davis can really play really good at nose tackle this year, he'll make Devin White and N'Kobe Dean's job a lot easier. But we shall see. Jordan Davis, the jury's still out on him. Jalen Carter played very well last year. Replaced Javon Hargrave pretty damn good as a rookie. Now, at cornerback, this is where it's kind of fishy. They drafted corners in round 1 and round 2. So they got Darius Slay at left cornerback, at right cornerback. They have Quentin Mitchell, their first-round pick. Starting slot, they got DeJean Cooper, the second-round pick. Now, Avonte Maddox is the backup slot for right now, who's actually pretty good starting slot, veteran slot. And James Bradbury is behind Quentin Mitchell on the depth chart. Now, Bradbury is who I knew he's always been. He's never been that guy. You know what I mean? He's never been a baller. He's never been a number 1. He's an average corner. He's a Jordan Lewis. If Jordan Lewis played on the outside. I mean, CeeDee Lamb in his rookie season, when Bradbury was with the Giants, was whooping up on that boy, as a rookie. So we'll see how that works out with those 2 rookies at corner. If Bradbury and Maddox are going to be on the bench while they're out there playing. They got Chauncey Gardner-Johnson back. Kevin Byard's gone, the guy they acquired from Tennessee last year. They got him from Tennessee for no avail because it didn't look good, really. Defense didn't get any better. I don't know why Detroit let CJG go after they're a game away from the Super Bowl last season, but Johnson's back with Philly. Free safety and strong safety is Reed Blankenship. So pretty stout roster, pretty good roster, right? Some question marks only at, you can say, linebacker and offensive line, yet to be seen on how that new starting 5, works. But not the Eagles are going to be good this year. Now we go to the Cowboys. As we know, starting quarterback Dak Prescott. A lot of people don't realize he was second-team All-Pro last season. Do you know what that means? When you make All-Pro, it's not just for NFC and AFC like the Pro Bowl. All-Pro is for the whole league. It's like Tyron Smith last year was second-team All-Pro behind Trent Williams. That means Tyron Smith was the second best left tackle in the NFL last year, behind Trent Williams, who's just on another level from another world. Dak Prescott last season was second-team All-Pro. Yeah, right. And behind him, Rush and Lance at number 3. Now, we don't have a quarterback signed through 2025, so all of them are on contract years, unless we extend that. As of right now, Elliott is at running back 1. Behind him, Rico. Behind him, Deuce. Now, that running back room is still TBD. We know that. They're going to bring in somebody else. We know that. Zeke will, be what he is. He is the power back, the 2 yards in the cloud of dust. Those 3rd and 4th and short, so we couldn't get last season, we'll get this year. That when we get inside the 10, inside the 5, we'll get in the end zone this season with Elliott. For example, last year at Miami on the opening drive, when Tony Pollard had a nose for the end zone and he was headed that way and he got stopped at the half-yard line and taken down. On a play like that, Elliott would have just, ran through the guy's arm, knocked his arm off, and made it to the end zone. I do have Tourette's, so I'm sorry for my choices and my coughing and whatnot. And then the very next play, the rookie, number 40, Hunter, fumbles the ball, and we get no points out of that great opening drive. So Zeke will serve a purpose this year. He is not the Zeke of old, but he has a purpose, and he does it well. He does what he does now well. And he also pass blocks very damn well. Don't forget that. I think Rico has a lot of skills, too, and he's getting better. I mean, last season he was finally healthy. When he got the ball, he made plays. Tight end, Jake Ferguson, a rising star. This season, he will get 1,000 yards. I don't know about 100 catches, but he will be a 1,000-yard receiver this season. Guarantee he will be the next Travis Kelce. This 87 is going to be like the other 87 in KC who just got a big deal. Behind him right now is Schoonmaker, Hendershot, Princeton Fant. And then we have UDFA's Alec Holler, Brevin Span Ford. Those 5 tight ends behind Ferguson are going to battle it out for the tight end 2 and 3 spot. And or tight end 4 if we carry 4 tight ends this year. I don't know. We might carry 3, we might carry 4. But nobody is safe behind Ferguson. Not even Schoonmaker, 2nd round pick of last year. So whoever comes out, number 2 and number 3, out of that competition, will have a damn good tight end group. Wide receiver, CeeDee Lamb. 130 catches, 150 yards, 12 tubs, a top 5 receiver, no doubt. He's come to his one as an alpha male, true 88, in and out all the way. And then Brandon Cooks, our number 2. 2nd year with Dak, 2nd year with this team, 2nd year in the system. Second half of last season, we started to figure out how to get him involved. When the first half of last year, he was non-existent. This season, look for Brandon Cooks to be, around that 1,000-yard mark. And take the top off the defense a few times. Cooks didn't have 1,000 yards last year, only like the 2nd time in his career that's happened. But now, he's getting rhythm with his offense, and he can be a damn deadly weapon. I'm very glad we still have him. Jalen Tolbert going to his 3rd year. Michael Gallup is gone. I think Tolbert is going to be very good at receiver 3. And then receiver 4, Ryan Flourney, our rookie. He was, a 6th-round pick? And then Turpin and Jalen Brooks. Our 7th-round pick last year, Jalen Brooks, who I didn't think to make the team. When we picked him last year in the 7th round, he didn't have size, speed. I didn't even know I didn't think he'd make the team. But he did. And in the regular season, anytime his name was called, number 83, made play, caught the ball. So in year 2, Jalen Brooks is a sleeper. Watch out. This kid might become something. For real. Wouldn't it be some 7th-round pick, becoming a top baller for us. Now, to the most discussed position group on this team here. As of right now, on the depth chart, starting left tackle will be Tyler Guyton. Starting left guard, Tyler Smith. Center, Zach Hoffman. Right guard, Zach Martin. Right tackle, Terrence Steele. Now, on the depth chart, second team, the B team, whatever you want to call it. At left tackle, you got Chuma Doga. Left guard, TJ Bass, who's very, very good depth for swing guard. He can play left or right guard. Center, Connor Beebe. Now, he's going to battle Brock Hoffman for that starting job at center in the offseason. And my money would be on Connor Beebe. And I would do 10-1 odds on that, for real. I think Connor Beebe will ascend to starting center with ease. Back up right guard, Asim Richards. Odd because he's drafted as left tackle last year, right? And then back up right tackle, Matt Let's-Go. So we have depth on the offensive line there. Now, defensive ends. We got Micah and D-Law. You got great pass rusher, great run stopper. Nice bookend set. And Sam Williams, Marshawn Nealon. Third-year guy, rookie. One's a pass rusher like Micah. One's more of a run-stopping, hard-nosed guy like Tank. Behind him, we got Fehoko Jr. and Darrell Johnson. So solid at defensive end. Still, even losing Fowler and Armstrong. Defensive tackle, Osadigazua, Mozzie Smith, Chauncey Golston, Justin Rogers, nose tackle, drafted in the 7th round, rookie, Carl Davis, and Denzel Dacton, I think his last name is a UDFA. So that's question mark is running back and defensive tackle. The two areas that could use some help. Now, a lot of people are claiming that in Zimmer's scheme, that Mozzie fits a lot better in his scheme than he did in Dan Quinn's. We'll see if that's true and Mozzie excels this season in Mike Zimmer's defensive, scheme. That would be wonderful if him and Osa can just, rock it up the middle. Oh my goodness. I mean, that is where it starts. If your defensive tackles can wreak havoc, that opens it up for the whole defense. The defensive ends, the linebackers, and the secondary. Those defensive tackles are the most important position on the team. Because if you got no tackles, you can't stop the run. And you can't get interior pressure. I mean, it really starts up front. It does. They always say it's one in the trenches. It is. At linebacker, weak side, Damone Clark is right now. Middle linebacker, Eric Kendricks. Zimmer brought him in to quarterback the defense. Played a long time for Mike Zimmer. He's not in his prime anymore. He's more like Gilmore, where he plays a lot more with this. He's still very effective. He's not, top 5, top 10, but he's still very effective at middle linebacker. He's an upgrade from Van Der Esch. And I love 55. I love the Wolf Hunter. But after his rookie season, where he made All-Pro, he was never the same guy, kind of like Jalen Smith, 2018. Amazing. And after that, just no rhyme or reason. It just happens. And as right now, the backup, we only have weak side linebacker, middle linebacker, because we play nickel. That's a defense that our roster is constructed to play. Nickel, big nickel, either one. So our depth chart doesn't have weak side, middle, and strong side, just weak side, middle. So backup weak side still has a Marquise Bell listed there. Now, I know they said they're going to put it back at safety, but maybe he'll play a little bit of both. And then behind Kendricks at middle linebacker, Overshawn, DeMarvion Overshawn. And then behind him, the 3rd-round pick 87 out of Notre Dame, Maurice Lufui out of Notre Dame. I can't pronounce his last name. Make that. Now, corner. Left cornerback, 5th-round guy, first-team All-Pro in 22, Trayvon Diggs. Right cornerback, first-team All-Pro last year, Deron Bland, who in year 3 will be a lot better than year 2, especially all off-season and training camp if he's playing on the outside. Because he was purely slot when we drafted him, when he started playing in 2022, when he started the last season, and then whenever Diggs went down, he had to go outside. So, if Diggs comes back from that tear and he's good to go, he's a Diggs that we know. Him and Bland are solid, bookends at corner. And then behind Diggs, you got Kalen Carson, fifth-round rookie, who will probably, get Nashawn Wright off this team. Behind Bland, you have Nashawn Wright, Eric Scott Jr. At slot cornerback, you just have Jordan Lewis. There's nobody behind him at slot. Now, we know Izzy can play slot, but now, safety, at free safety, we have Malik Hooker. Played very good last year. Israel Mukwamu. Strong safety, Donovan Hitman Wilson, coming off a down year, but still has, since 2020 as a rookie, the boy can ball. Behind him, we have Wanye Thomas, who we want to see more of. He's got skills, and 3 UDFAs behind that. Now, you match that up with Philly's depth chart. Pretty similar right there. Now, with the running backs that are out there right now, Cam Akers, and some names like that, or the biggest names, but Carolina takes Jordan Brooks in the second round, right? First running back off the board to go with Bryce Young. Miles Sanders they took last year from Philly. Miles Sanders had a very horrible year with Carolina, just like Elliott did with New England. Miles Sanders had, 1,250 yards and 22. And last season, he's like 300-400, something like that. If we can make a move and get a Miles Sanders over here, because this offensive line we have will be a run blocking line. They'll be able to pass block, but they're going to be a run blocking offensive line first, which is what you want. Because a run game, if you can run the ball, you can do anything you want on offense. If we could trade for a Miles Sanders, that would be huge. Because I guarantee you, you'd be a 1,000-yard rusher. He'd be running back 1 with Zeke behind him as the power back. Or who knows, maybe Rico makes another step this year, being, because his first couple of years, he would get hurt in the offseason for the entire season. Torn ACL, torn this, torn that. Last year was his first time healthy throughout the offseason, throughout preseason, and was able to play. And whenever he got the ball, he looked pretty damn good. So maybe Rico makes that next step this year and can become that running back number 1. That can, break them big runs, and be that number 1 back. And then Elliott be running back 1A or just running back number 2 and do what he does. Power back, soften up the defense. Soften up the defense like he did in 2022. And then that's whenever, then after the defense would get pounded for a couple plays, then Pollard would get the ball and take off. That's why he had 5.2 yards to carry in 22. In this last season, he had 4.1 yards per carry. Big drop off. What was the difference of the offensive line from 22 and 23? In 22, you had no Tyron Smith. You had the rookie at left tackle. At left guard, you had McGovern. And Tony Pollard still had over 1,000 yards and was killing it. 5.2 yards a carry. Last season, you had Tyron Smith at left guard, who was killing it. Tyron Smith at left tackle. Tyler at left guard. Beyonce at center. Martin and Steele. For all intents and purposes, the offensive line was better last year than in 2022. But Pollard was still at 1.1 yards less per carry. Was not the same running back because the offensive line was not as good. This offensive line is going to be pushing guys around and opening holes. If we can just get that guy with speed, maybe it's Rico, maybe it's his time, In 2003, I remember we had Troy Hambrick as our running back, and he ran us to a 10-6 record with Quincy Carter at quarterback. You know what I mean? But we had a good offensive line at that time. I believe we still had Larry Allen at left guard. In 03, we had Flozell Adams, Andre Gerard. It's a very good roster we have, guys. Roster is very good and very young. The only elder statesman on this team right now is Zach Martin and D. Law. So if we get a running back, man, maybe Cam Akers, maybe he could, get it done. If you have a good offensive line, they'll make any running back look great. DeMarco Murray was not a great running back, but the whole line was so damn good, he was able to get 1,800 yards behind him. He goes to Philly the next year and does nothing. He does nothing the rest of his career. So 3 things. Get the running back situation figured out. At defensive tackle, you got top 10 free agents. Linval Joseph played with Mike Zimmer for a long time. Mike Zimmer, maybe they bring him on for a cup of coffee. Calais Campbell's still out there. Played for Atlanta last year, which I don't know why. At his age, at 38, he'd be ring chasing, you would assume. I mean, he got close to Super Bowl in 2018 with the Jags, 1 game away. Now, a lot of people are saying he'd be too expensive. But the Cowboys should call him up. Because Calais Campbell on a 1-year deal could immensely help the interior of the defensive line. In 2022, his stat line at defensive tackle was better than all of our DTs combined. That's why last season I wanted to get him so bad I couldn't believe he signed with Atlanta. But there's other guys, there's Linval Joseph, and you usually look up the top 10 defensive tackle free agents. Bring in one veteran. One veteran, one tech, nose tackle. Being that Hankins is gone. And I think that would solidify the defensive tackle position, especially Mozzie makes the next step. And at cornerback, Gilmore's still out there. I know he, visited the Panthers again. If Gilmore's going to play another season, and he was pretty damn good last year, I don't think he's going to want to play for a losing team. Why would he want to come back just to lose? Panthers are not going to be a good team. They're going to be very bad again. They are in a very slow rebuild mode. Yeah, they got Jonathan Brooks. Bryce Young is in his 2nd year. Maybe he is a quarterback, that he's supposed to be, but he wasn't that good last year. He didn't have much of a supporting cast. I know they're kicking themselves in the ass, wishing they got C.J. Stroud, but, when we signed Elliott, initially, after the ink was on the paper, he was taking 21 back. But then, a day later, he reverts and says, no, I'm going to be 15 like it was last season because it's a new era with this team. I'm ring chasing now. Now, I think, if you read between the lines, Elliott is keeping that number open for Gilmore because he looks good, number 21. I mean, any good corner looks good in 21. I wish Diggs would wear 21, but he likes 7, so he's 7. Deron Bland's 26. If we could sign Gilly back to a one-year deal, that would solidify our secondary so damn good, and it would let Diggs take his time coming back from that knee. Week 1, he wouldn't have to be 100% week 1. I mean, hopefully he is. We're all hoping that he is. And also week 1, he wouldn't have to carry the burden of being cornerback number 1. He could work his way, in for the first quarter, first half of the season. Get that knee comfortable. Trust it, Because if we sign Gilmore back to a 1-year deal, at 33 years old, that man played lockdown last season. He played pretty good. He played bad in the playoff game, as the whole team did, but he played pretty damn good. So if we signed him back to a 1-year deal, and our starting squad on week 1 was Gilly and Bland on the outside and Lewis on the inside, that's beautiful. And then by week 4, week 5, if it's Gilly and Diggs on the outside and then Bland back in slot, oh boy, watch out. Oh man, if we can get Deron Bland back into the slot with Gilly and Diggs playing outside as it was week 1 and week 2 of last season, that is the best cornerback trio in the NFL, hands down. With a savvy future Hall of Fame veteran, MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, former Defensive Player of the Year, a first-team All-Pro, opposite him, and then a first-team All-Pro in the slot. And then Jordan Lewis as depth, as your depth piece. That's beautiful. You need depth at cornerback. That's why having Gilmore last year saved our ass. If we didn't have Gilmore last year, opposite Bland, it would have been Deshaun Wright, Harris Scott Jr., whoever we could sign. It would have been a mess. It would have been a mess. Against Seattle, DK Metcalf was a bad matchup for Deron Bland. Tortured him the whole first half. Halftime, Dan Quinn goes to Gilmore and says, hey, cover 14 now. You follow him. Metcalf doesn't have a catch in the second half of that game. Against Seattle, we win, 41-35? That big shootout. When Gilmore wants to, and he has a lock-in, a lockdown, somebody, he could do it. And he did that to DK Metcalf in the second half of that Seahawks game. And DK ain't nobody to play with, especially if you cover them one-on-one with no help. And Gilmore shut him down. So then Bland was able to cover Lockett and JSB, Jackson Smith and Jigba. JSN, I mean. My early prediction, guys. I know the schedule is not like last year, right? You got Philly, Washington, and New York twice. Then our first place schedule has us matched up with, in the NFC, San Fran, Detroit, and then for our 17th game for the AFC, we get Houston. All playoff teams, of course, won the division last year. Philly, playoff team, play them twice. We have the AFC North. So we have Baltimore, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland. Cleveland had a hell of a defense last season. And the NFC South we play this year, which is pretty easy for us. Tampa Bay, ATL, Carolina, and Tampa Bay, Carolina, Falcons. Who else in the South? New Orleans, yes. Now, I think we're going to sweep the division for the first time since we did it in 2022? No, 2021. 2021, we swept the division. Before that, we swept it in 1998. And that was the very first time we ever swept the division. So we've only done that twice. We've only swept the East twice. In 98, there was 5 teams in it. Giants, Redskins, Eagles, Cardinals. 21, there's only 4 teams. I believe we're going to beat Philly at home and away. Same with Washington and the Giants. We go to San Fran. I'm going to still say that monkey's on our back, and San Fran's going to take that win. We have Detroit and Houston at home. I know Detroit was a game away from the Super Bowl, but we beat them at home last season. And Houston is going to be bringing everything they got, because whenever we play, we're playing for the Governor's Cup. It's kind of like an inside joke, Governor's Cup. But I think we can. I think we beat Detroit and Houston at home. We have Baltimore and Cincinnati at home, which is good, opposed to having Pittsburgh and Cleveland. We go to Pittsburgh and Cleveland. Baltimore and Cincinnati at home. We're assuming Cincy's going to be healthy, Joe Burrow and all that. I say we split Cincinnati and Baltimore in those home games. Say we split. This is way early little prediction here. Then at Pittsburgh at Cleveland, I know we were not a good road team the last couple of years, but I believe we walk out of both of those stadiums with W's. Tampa Bay, Atlanta, Carolina, New Orleans, I forget who's at home and who's away, but I think we sweep that division all the way. I don't see one of them sneaking up and beating us at all. So that puts us at 15-2, which I know we're not going to be, but I believe we've won 12 in 3 straight years. We're gonna go 12-5 or 13-4 this season. And if Philly is game and their record is up there with us, I think we'll beat them just by virtue of tiebreaker. And we're going to be fighting for the 1 or 2 seed. San Francisco and us. Detroit, I don't see Detroit repeating what they did last season. I know they're a tough team. Well coached and whatnot, but I don't know. I think Detroit's chances last year, and I think it's passed. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see who picks up who drops who gets injured. A lot of things happen between here, training camp, and week 1, guys. Damn, it's an hour-long video. Hope y'all guys enjoyed it. Please hit that subscribe button, like and share this content, guys. Put God first and foremost. He comes before everything, even this. Seek Him and His righteousness, and all these other things will come unto you. I am a living testimony of that. Right now, I'm going through one of the biggest valleys I've ever been through in my life. And please pray for me, but I know, just like, Aaron Rodgers said last season, that night is darkest before dawn. But that's my take on the East. I think Cowboys win it at number 1, Eagles at number 2 as a playoff team, Washington at number 3, not a playoff team, and the Giants again at number 4. Well, actually, the Giants were 3 and Washington was 4 last year, but Washington beat Dallas, Philly, Washington, and the Giants in that order from 1 to 4. Cowboys will win the East for back-to-back seasons for the first time 30 years. And with this young offensive line that should play all 17 games together, that is key also when you have an O-line that's not playing musical chairs and they play all 17 games side by side. They get continuity and they gel and they get to know each other so well that each guy knows what the other guy's going to do without having to ask. It's instinct. That's why the early 90s line was so good. That's why the line from 2014 through 2016, 2017 was so good, because Tyron, Ronald Leary, Lyle Collins at left guard, Frederick Martin, and that white guy, I always forget his name. I hate that. He was serviceable right tackle. That's why they were so good, because they played all 16 games together. No musical chairs. And Tyler Guyton is a big guy. And yes, he was right tackle, right? When we drafted Tyron Smith from USC, he was right tackle, because the quarterback at USC was a left-hander. So he was protecting his blind side. So he had a transition. He played right tackle his first year for us, Tyron did. And then in the second year, moved to left tackle. So even though Guyton was at right tackle last year, there's no reason why he can't move to left tackle. Who was that right tackle? That white guy that retired in 2018, I believe. I hate when I forget names. I got this Rolodex in my head. Ding, it's like so much information stored up there. I want to end this show, but I want to think of that guy's name. What was his name? What was his name? Help me. What was that right tackle's name? He was there for a long time. Oh, it's going to bug me all night. I'm going to look it up after I end this. All right, that's it for this episode, guys. My thoughts about the division and way early schedule prediction. So please subscribe, guys, like and share, and I will catch y'all this weekend, guys. Y'all be good and have a fun weekend. Be safe. Don't do nothing I wouldn't do, guys. Charles in Charge is out. Deuce.